leaving my home at the age of 14. I spent 3 years in Jamaica on my own without family. Then came to UT. It was hard as well with injuries. My first few years, I got stuck in the US during COVID time because the border in my country closed down. So I was on my own again, depressed. But I kept the faith in God. There were times when I went back to my room and I cried and asked God, like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening in my life. And I'm just trying to figure out how to get through. And all I've tried to do is just make my family proud and make a life out of this, make a life out of track and field.
I'm curious to hear more about the process of setting that goal, right? I don't think the specifics of winning a gold medal is relatable for most, but the goal of doing something that you've never done before or being the best at whatever it is that you're aspiring to be. How do you think about setting a goal like that, or why do you feel you can set a goal like that? Knowing that you did it, first of all, like, congrats,
Yeah,
that's
thank
awesome.
you.
But how do you have the confidence? Yeah.
I think I'm from those around me. My coach believed that I could. And sometimes we feel like a coach can be crazy, what he says to you. And I think that sometimes Flo is crazy with what he says to me. However, as you mentioned, I think confidence is one of the main things that allow me to believe that I can get there. And based on what I've been through before, which was the previous year I went to World Championships. And after a long collegiate season, I placed 5th in the 100 and 4th in the 200. With nearly over 50 races in my legs by that point. So I think that based on how I performed the year prior, that gave me confidence in knowing that I can compete amongst the best and I can compete among world-class athletes. So I think that gave me a bit of confidence, knowing that it's possible. Saying you want to win an Olympic gold medal is kind of scary, I'm not going to lie, but also believing in yourself and knowing that it's possible. And also having those around you who's not going to laugh at you and feel like, oh, you're just joking around, or like, that's not possible. Having those around you, and even when you feel like what they're saying is crazy, and knowing that they can help you get to where you want to go. Like Coach Flo, earlier on this year, around the same time where I felt like I couldn't step on the line anymore, he said to me, "Are you ready to be an Olympic gold medalist?" But he just believed that I could, based on like where I was and based on my potential. So I think having those around you, even though the goal might be crazy, having people around you to support your dreams and to help you get there, I think that's really important.
I just did a podcast an hour ago with Fiona O'Keefe, and she said almost exactly the same thing. Like, it's so critical to have people around you that that believe in you and perhaps believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
Yes.
How do you go about assembling a team like that?
How? So I met Coach Flo at the age of 17. That was 2018 when I joined UT. So I think I really just assessed the amount of athletes that he's had and the success of the athletes. Like he's coached Sydney, he's coached Kenny Harrison, a world record holder in the hurdles, Jasmine Camacho Quinn. So I think when choosing a coach, I really look at their success and the amount of like world-class athletes that they've had as well. And I think that really made me have confidence in him. And over time, I mean, it don't just happen right away. Sometimes you feel like, oh, he's crazy, or like, it's just not going how I expected to. Like my first 2 years at UT, it really wasn't going how I expected it to, because I was just getting hurt all the time. But after a while of just listening to him and paying attention to what he's saying and just being disciplined, I think it all came together. But it's just trusting those around you and trusting that they can get you to where they want to go. But it all comes from like your gut and just knowing who's the right person to have in your circle.
One of the other pieces that it sounds like is fundamental to your success and happiness is your faith. I've found that a lot of athletes who are religious or have a specific practice around that find grounding in it, or there's a greater purpose for what they're doing. Talking about your relationship with faith.
To be honest, growing up, it wasn't always like this. However, I think when I went to Jamaica, because I went at a very young age, joining a church with one of my friends, I think that really allowed me to rekindle my relationship with God. And there's, again, having people around me, like Coach Flo is a Christian, and he always reminds me of God's word, especially when it gets so hard for me, I feel like it's not going how I want it to. He always reminds me of like God's word and trusting God and trusting him. And I think it depends on like those around me that has really kept me, grounded and remind me of, how good God is, and also starting to believe for myself, because God has been good to me and he's kept me grounded and he's the reason why I'm here. So I think just trying to have a good relationship with God and just seeing that he's the reason why I'm here today. And I think those around me kind of remind me of that as well.
I find the relationship with faith to be a fascinating one, right? It's like I'm Jewish and I have recently reconnected with that as well.
Right.
And the sense of community and the sense of purpose and the sense of like, this has been going on for thousands of years. Like not much else has been going on for thousands of years. And strangely, it's like one of the reasons why I like trail running. Like I feel very small in the big mountains, and in a relationship with religion, like you feel small in the history of the last many thousands of years.
Right.
Has that been a way you've thought about it as well?
No, actually.
No.
For me, I don't think that deep at times. I just think of what's happening in the now, and just not like what happened like way before. I just try to remain in the now and just try to continue to like read God's word and just follow it and use it in my life currently. That's what I try to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Switching gears a bit. So you went to UT. We're here in Austin.
Yeah.
Bringing up some fun memories from college?
No, to be honest. But my last college race was here at UT. I mean, I still train here at the University of Texas with my coach. But I think my best memory was just my last race here at UT, NCAA's, when we won NCAA's, the championship. So I think that's my best memory of it.
How do you think about success? So I find it, again, fascinating to have this discussion with people who have achieved conventionally the highest level of success, right? An athlete aspires to win a gold medal. An entrepreneur aspires to build a company to be, super large or become CEO of something.
Right.
Those are the conventional aspects of success. How do you define success?
For everybody, it's different. It might be the smallest thing for somebody. Maybe just, how do I say it? Maybe just buying their first apartment, that's success to somebody. For me, I'll probably define it as a tough one.
What makes you really happy?
What makes me happy?
Or joyful?
Knowing that my family is comfortable, those around me who have made such sacrifices for me to get to this point are happy. Knowing that all my hard work and all the sacrifices that I've made in my life, they all come together and work out when it's supposed to. And just doing well on the track, doing well mentally, physically, emotionally. I think that's what makes me happy.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love asking these questions because people who are listening are probably like, she's done something really successful. I want to know how she did that. So if you peel back the layers and you unpack it a little bit, how do you build backwards to achieve or build forwards to achieve something like that?
Yeah, I did that through a lot of sacrifices. As I mentioned sacrifices a lot because that's really what my life has been like. Leaving my home at the age of 14, I spent 3 years in Jamaica on my own without family. Only got to see my family during summertime. Then came to UT. It was hard as well. With injuries, my first few years, I got stuck in the US during COVID time because the border in my country closed down. So I was on my own again, depressed. But I kept the faith in God. There were times when I went back to my room and I cried and asked God, like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening in my life. And I'm just trying to figure out how to get through. And all I'm trying to do is make my family proud and make a life out of this, make a life out of track and field. But one thing that I try to do is keep the faith, remain disciplined, and stay the course, because something that God says, we may have our plan, but He directs our steps. And when we may feel it will be smooth sailing, we may have a mountain to climb over before we get to that point. So it took a lot of ups and downs to get to that point, to get to an Olympic gold medal. Even this year was a lot of ups and downs as well. However, all you have to do is just remain faithful and keep working hard, because you just never know when it will come together for you.